Independent RX Forum is sponsored by Wellgistics Health. Welcome to Independent RX Forum with the National Community Pharmacists Association, America's leading advocate and business education provider for independent community pharmacists. Independent RX Forum is powered by RX Connection.
I'm your host, John Beckner, and we're live streaming today from the NCPA Annual Meeting in Columbus, Ohio. I'm joined by my co-host, Ed Cohen. Ed, welcome.
Well, John, thank you for having me, and I'm looking forward to yet another robust conversation about the world of pharmacy.
Well, we're really excited about our next guest. Our next guest is NCPA President Lea Wolsoncroft. Lea, welcome. So glad you could be with us today.
Thank you for having me.
And as I mentioned to you before we went on the air, great speech this morning.
Thank you.
From the heart, obviously.
Yes.
Yeah. So I want to get more into your year as NCPA president in a few minutes, but if you could share with our listeners, your professional journey, how you got started in pharmacy. Maybe you can mention some people that had an impact or influence on you along the way. If we could start out by doing that.
Sure, absolutely. I grew up with a family of nurses. We had no pharmacists in our family and thought maybe that would be the track that I would go down. So I was an EKG technician in a hospital when I was 18 and quickly learned that blood and veins and things like that were not going to be in my future. One of the doctors that I worked with said, I think we need to rethink this. So he actually was the one who suggested pharmacy. And so started to look at that. Happened to have a Stanford University School of Pharmacy rep that happened to come through. And my chemistry teacher pulled me to the side and I got to go meet him. So started that journey. I did both hospital, I did some specialty, I did some consulting. But after going to an NCPA meeting, that was really as I said in my speech, that's where I found family. I suddenly had dozens of uncles who shared and contributed to my interest and my growth. And so even though my first job as a pharmacist was at a independent pharmacy. Mm-hmm. I did go back to hospital so I could go back to school. And even when I was at Children's Hospital I worked the second shift so I could take classes. And my boss would say, would you just dump in the pharmacy already? Because I didn't even realize I was talking about it evidently quite a bit. Right. So we did kids meds and my husband allowed me to do a crazy thing, and we opened a pharmacy and clinic and some kids' meds for 16 years. We ended up buying another pharmacy. It was a compounding-only pharmacy, and it's the craziest thing because you would think I would have thought of this, but all of the doctors that were sending us the kids then sent us the adults to the other pharmacy, and I thought, what about that? And they said, well, it's a kids' meds pharmacy, so we decided to transition over into a pharmacy where we could accommodate everybody.
Right.
Our third pharmacy, we ended up selling the compounding pharmacy in our third pharmacy. Now we built from scratch. And actually, we were there 5 years and just remodeled. So as well as being president this year, we literally built a whole new pharmacy.
You've had a lot going on.
We do. We do a lot of compounding. Yeah. And so USP has really pushed us to be bigger and a lot more detailed in what we do.
Right. I love the name of your pharmacy. Remedies. Yeah, yes. That's a great name.
Yes.
Yeah.
So that's what we do, right? We help to give the remedies for all that ails you, or maybe a remedy to keep you well.
Yeah.
On that side as well.
So I know you've had a few people to have an influence on your professional journey. One is Deanne Mullins.
Yes.
In fact, ran into Deanne last night and she speaks so highly of you. The other is Michael Hogue. Yes. Michael just spoke at VCU Convocation, and he mentioned you and Deanne in his remarks in terms of people that impacted him and helped him chart his path. So
we were all classmates.
Alabama,
we went
right?
To school, yes, at Stanford University. Yeah. And Deanne and I we saw leadership in Michael too, and
Right.
we said, you really need to go to this conference. And so we drug him around for a little bit, both state and national. And look how we are now. DM preceded me as president.
Right.
Michael out there doing wonderful things for AKHA.
Yep.
Still very connected with him and of course with you as well.
So you've done a number of interviews over the past year, and I've looked at several of them. And you mentioned pharmacist role with public health, and also the pharmacist role in the wellness of their communities. Can you maybe elaborate on your thoughts there?
Who knew 30 years ago that we were going to be given shots? I mean, again,
We did. Yeah.
I did. That's why I went to pharmacy, because I didn't want to give shots.
Yeah.
We are.
I did the same thing. I didn't want to touch blood.
Yeah.
But what an opportunity. And we've changed the way our community thinks of us. There are so many more things we could do besides just immunizations. I mean, we could do a lot of testing, the test to treat. There, advancement of over-the-counter testing and some of the testing opportunities that we have even through, in the pharmacies for A1Cs and things like that. There's so many things that we can do on a level that really doesn't require a physical exam.
Right.
So TB testing and things like that could really be helpful, especially in rural communities. We have a role, I think, in wellness, and it's just really not acknowledged. But I think people are so much more educated now. They want to prevent. We tend in medicine to treat after the fact.
Mm-hmm.
And insurances want to cover after you get sick.
Yep.
Well, shouldn't we be thinking about not getting to that place, right? We want to live longer. We want to be productive. I remember as a kid thinking 30 was old. 30 is looking pretty big to me now. But we want to feel at 60 how we did at 30.
Yeah.
We want people to move and function, and so that's got to be our role. We're often the primary source of health information.
Right.
So in your role as president, do you feel that you were given the opportunity to truly express that message and plant those seeds deeply enough, especially against all the headwinds of the pressures that all of us are facing in our businesses with reimbursement and other struggles? How do you feel? How did you do?
Anytime you have the opportunity to talk about our profession, I do. One of my strengths, I think, is my connection with pharmacy schools. And so I made several trips. I went to New York. Steve Giroux hosted us, and we had to go see Brad at his store, both past presidents.
Mm-hmm.
And we visited 3 pharmacy schools because they are our future.
Yes.
They have to set the new pace for us. There are a lot of us that are willing to change, or many of us that don't want to, but we all welcome them to change. We also went to California, and Ken Ty hosted us out there, and went to 3 pharmacy schools out there to talk to not just the students, but the deans, right? They're influencing and they're teaching. And if the majority of the graduates are going into community, let's make that just as valuable. Let's not demean clinical pharmacy that you can only do it in an institution. Whether you want to call it AmCare or clinical, or it's all community pharmacy.
I'm so glad that you have focused on that as president this year. We just interviewed the dean at VCU as part of the podcast, and one of the questions that we posed to him was, "What is the role of the school in raising the profile of the profession, making it really a preferred profession again?" In the face of all the workplace challenges and whatnot, we need to get back up to where we were. And I think that the schools play a critical role. Absolutely. Not only with that, but also adapting the curriculum to changes in practice that are needed.
Enhance that. Nobody goes to pharmacy school for all those years just to put pills in.
Exactly.
We don't. And we're not educated that way. But we also need the skills to take what we have between our ears and implement it, because let's face it, it's a business. And whether you go to work for a hospital or you go to work for a community pharmacy, You do that to pay your bills. You got a mortgage, you got a car payment. We all do. We have to make money. So we have to find those roles that we can move in, utilizing those clinical skills with a proper payment model. And so that's where CPESN, all the initiatives are crucial. And the students embrace that. And it's so easy to talk to them because that's what they all want to do.
That's exactly what they want to do.
So we need to help them to cultivate that. Yesterday, business plan competition. You see that innovative thinking that they're seeing the potential when they see a new program or a new initiative in a pharmacy that works, they will run with that. And then we can teach them to take it outside to maybe many pharmacies, not just theirs.
I'd like to go back for a second to the workplace issues.
Yes.
And how do you talk so highly about the colleges of pharmacy and the great job that they're doing, yet we still have just a tremendous amount of angst in the profession. There's a lot of loud voices. Let me rephrase that. There's not a lot of really loud voices, but they're loud and they're not being silenced in any way, shape, or form. They're really trying to push our profession in a different direction. How do we look at that, and how can we leverage the schools, the associations, and our store owners to take that charge and counteract that?
The big corporations are going to be harder. Independent pharmacy, they can pivot if there's a need. A new urgent public health issue, we can pivot and we can change very quickly. If we hear of a new program that we want to institute, we have the ability to do that very fast. Chains and big corporations just aren't going to be able to move that quickly, make those changes. But they're going to follow the examples, because I think COVID has changed everybody. It's not just pharmacy.
Right. Oh, yeah.
People have a different outlook on life. And so I think being valuable, feeling that you're contributing is more important than ever. Again, pharmacists, even who have been in practice for 20, 30 years, don't want to just go put pills in a bottle as fast as they can. So we've got to create those places. And I tell my students all the time, I said, I understand. You're going to get out, you're going to get a job. It's going to be very tempting to take a highest, contract or whatever. But truly, if you can't go to the bathroom, that's not a profession. If you feel like you can't move, or you're not moving fast enough and you go home at night and don't remember what you did, you need to either create your own workplace. And honestly, a lot of it comes down to payment. We have to be paid fairly. And so everybody on an individual basis has got to decide what is going to be good for their pharmacy. And we've never had so much momentum as we do right now to fix these things. But it's like anything else. You're going to work where you feel valued. And as long as we only have opportunities for young and seasoned pharmacists that they don't feel valued and they don't feel like that they're using their degrees maximally, we're going to have unrest. And there's always going to be some like,
Well, I think they also agree, and I think they also want to believe and feel like they're being listened to.
Yes.
Yeah, I mean, it's they've got some legitimate concerns, and if folks are turning a deaf ear, that's really causing a lot of discontentment. So you've had a great year. I'm sure it's felt like a whirlwind.
I'm not quick.
What do you think the highlights are? There've probably been too many to mention on the podcast, but just maybe share a few for us.
Connection with members is one of the biggest things. The students, as I've mentioned, I got the opportunity to go to a lot of meetings that I would have not otherwise attended. So you see also different perspectives from different groups. We do have JCPP that we meet quarterly. So a lot of the leaderships from all the associations, which you are shocked that we have so many pharmacy associations, that seeing them work together, community, work life, and work health is on everybody's mind, or every sector. And so seeing us work together and knowing that there's more cohesive, people want to say that there's not, but there's a lot of cohesiveness amongst the the organizations more than I think we're being credit.
And I think it really, not that there wasn't before COVID, but I think that really accelerated during and after COVID in terms of associations and really everybody working together, because it was all hands on deck. It had to be.
Yes. And I think that it's changed. It's actually given a lot more opportunity because it highlighted what we can do. And even pharmacists that never really thought that they wanted to do that went, I can do this. And then now we're thinking, what else can I do? Mm-hmm. So it's changed a lot of minds. I think the practitioners are going to lean on us a little often than they maybe did before.
And that's okay.
Yes.
That's what we want.
Work in coordination.
Yes.
We need to be better at talking to other associations. I know AMA sometimes gets a little protective, but there's lots of ways that we can work with them to augment, because they're busy too. And they have a shortage of primary care physicians. And we can partner in a lot of ways to help our communities.
Yeah, that primary care gap, the shortage is a huge opportunity for our profession. We just need to figure out how to leverage that.
But now we're known for shots. We're known for testing.
Yep.
Just open those doors and see what more we can do, because we can really keep public health very local, because not everybody has a public health, like a health department.
Right.
Exactly.
But everybody does have pharmacy close by.
Yeah. So Leah, as your great year comes to an end, what advice would you have for incoming president?
I say go with your passion. You're going to be strongest where you feel the most passion, and how your direction is going to be led by that. I think just if you're a strong administrator, then you're going to share that knowledge and those skills with everybody, more there so than somebody who I feel like I've been just a little cheerleader, just saying, what can we do? Let's go. And I think we needed that this year. It's been a tough year. And we needed to remember all the good stuff still.
Exactly.
We got some bad stuff we've been suffering through, but I think we got to stay positive. And so I think the person, the teams, the elected, whether it's state or national, when we come through this together, we get stronger. Every time we pull knowledge from somebody, we've all got a special skill or special talent that we can share.
Couldn't agree with you more.
I commend your personal touch. You speaking from the heart, making sure that all of your passions were realized, and embracing all of the headwinds that pharmacy has, and spinning it that it's not truly the negative that we all think. Yes, I really commend you on that.
Yeah.
Very.
Thank you.
Well, thank you for being on our podcast. More importantly, thank you for leading this organization this past year.
Oh, you're welcome. The staff and the membership make me look good, because I didn't make all those calls by myself. I didn't hit all those offices with Capitol Hill by myself, so.
Team effort.
Yes. Yes.
So we're in this for our profession. You got to stand up. We got to show what we can do.
Yes.
Well, enjoy the rest of the meeting, and thanks again for all you do.
Thank you.
Congratulations.
Yeah.
Yes.
Really, true congratulations.
Yeah.
Thank you so much.
Appreciate it.